Hey, what's happening, guys? It's JSAK Tube here, bringing you another project download template for Cinema 4D motion tracking. Now today we're going to be using Black Ops 2 Standoff, and we'll jump right into Cinema 4D and I'll show you how to use it. So today I'm using R17. As you may have seen in yesterday's video, I was using R16 and just had a little bit of a blog about R17, so I thought I'd download it and upgrade, and it's actually some really good stuff in here, and there's a lot more advancements than that from R16, which is really cool. But anyway, let's get started and let's get the project going. So in the motion tracking file that I'll leave a link in the description for you to download and use, I've also have the font that I've used for this tutorial. Again, you guys can feel free to use whatever font you want to use, but to install it, just right click and hit install and restart Cinema 4D or Photoshop. So that's all you need to do. Okay, so let's start with Standoff Motion Track C4D, and that'll open up in Cinema 4D. And just like yesterday, we'll take out these materials under background and plane. So hit delete on your keyboard, highlight, under background, delete, and also in here, delete. Now let's recreate that and get that back in here so you guys can have an idea of what we're dealing with here. Make sure color's selected, go to texture, load image, and under standoff image sequence, click the first one, highlight it only, open, the box will come up, say no. Now click into this little image here, go to animation and calculate. So it is Black Ops 2. I only recorded the footage in 30 frames, but yeah, it's not going to make much of a difference if you guys are going to edit it into a montage or whatever you're going to do anyway. I don't think the 60 frames conversion is going to make a huge difference, so I've left it at 30. And then again, click on this little ball, right click and animate. Okay, so let's drop that into the background. Drag and drop that into the background, make sure the arrow is facing down, and the same thing is the plane and projection. Under UVW mapping, change that to frontal, and then this is what we're looking at. Sorry about the render being so slow, but I've got my OBS going, so it just literally slows down everything on my system. Okay, so the difference here is I haven't seen many motion tracking tutorials, project downloads, or even people using them in their montages. I gave it a little, I put some dynamics in the text here to give it a sort of displacement effect, and as you can see there, it's sort of all over the place. I thought it was a pretty cool looking texture, so that's why I've done it like that. You guys can choose to use that if you want to, or you can just have it like a plain solid text, depending on what you want. And the way I've done that is I've added this explosion dynamics tab here, just underneath Motex. So if you guys want to know where that is, just in the pen tool. It's not this one here, Explosion FX, it's this one here. Once you grab that, drag it under the Motex and make sure the arrow is facing down and place that in there. So what I'll do to show you how it works is I will delete these keyframes and we'll open up the highlight explosion, and then under strength here, this is pretty much how you want the strength of the explosion to be. So you can leave it solidly there, and go through, and if you want it, if you want it solid, you can just I think I might have another keyframe here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. If I can just get to it. Okay, hang on. Let's just leave it at 0 strength, okay? So if we render out, if you don't want to use this whatsoever, you just leave the strength at 0 and obviously keyframe it. Now, or you can just pull it out altogether and just delete the explosion effect, so it'll just be a solid text all the way through if that's what you want. Now the good thing about this is you can do one of two things. One is you can leave it at the strength of the keyframe of what I've got it at 4%, which, well, no, actually I think that's 1%. There we go, and it just stays there. So what we can do now is, if we go to frame 0 right at the beginning of the frame, and we'll bring the strength down to 0. Now, hold Control on your keyboard, and then click the strength over here so that turns red. Alright, so what that will do is that'll stay solid. Now let's say we want to get over, actually the footage, it starts from here, right by the, in the middle here of standoff where the statue was, and at frame 310, which is about sort of 10 seconds long if you were to render this out in footage, this is where it ends up. It's just right on the just the beginning of the sidewalk over here. And that text will stay solidly in place, just like what I said yesterday. Don't move the text around unless you know about planar constraints and whatnot. But just where the sidewalk is over here, that's where the end of the footage is. So it's a 180 pan from just over here over to the sidewalk. Now what we can do to sort of put some sort of interesting dynamics into this is that we can start it at frame 0, and where the text is solid. We can come around here sort of halfway through the clip to about 160, and then what we can do is open our explosion tab here, and then we can put the strength, let's say, to 100%, so the text disappears, and then hold Control on your keyboard and then hit strength. So what's going to happen now is this. I'll just delete the background just to make the rendering time a little bit more faster, so I'll just turn that off for now. So there we go, and then the text will start exploding, and by the time it gets to frame 160 it'll be completely gone, and then from frame 61 to frame 310 it's just going to be a pan around with no text there at all. Now I'm sorry that it's a little bit slow, my computer's not as fast as it should be, especially if I'm recording this on my OBS software. And then when we get to say 240, let's turn the background back on, just do a quick render, and then you guys can see that it still pans around with no text there. So there's a few things you can actually do to this. You can add sound effects of a gunshot, of the of a sniper or something like that, to sort of give it a little bit more dynamic to the video clip. Or then again, if you just want to keep the strength of the explosion at 1% or 4%, or however you want to do it, you can just change however you want it. Now, if let's say you don't want from frame 2, you don't want the text to start exploding away, well, all you need to do then is just keyframe where you want this to happen. Alright, so we bring the first frame where it's still solid, and let's bring that to say 120. So that'll give us about from frame 120 to 160. That's when the explosion dynamics will start kicking in. So there we go. Still solid, and once it hits 120 it'll start exploding quite fast, and then by 160 it's disappeared. So you can play around with the settings and sort of adjust it however you want, whatever will fit your project. So just remember that you just keep your explosion tab open there, and you can just mess around with the strength, the speed also of how fast you want the text to sort of disappear or explode, angle speed as well, depending on what way you want the text to sort of fall out, whether it's in front of the screen, to the side, or just all over the place. End size, exactly the same thing, and randomness, again, however, what sort of direction you want the text to explode in. And that's really about it, guys. So yeah, feel free to sort of use this however you please. Just like yesterday, I left the same textures here. The only reason why I sort of left it at grey and black is because it kind of matched with the sort of scenery we're using here. As you see, there's a lot of concrete, bits of brick and stone sort of all over the road here. So, but as I said, you just open that up and double click, and then sort of change your colors however you want to, whether it's a hue, saturation, or anything like that. So yeah, feel free. There's lots of good things you can do with this. It's just a starting point, I suppose. And like I said in my video yesterday, I've got more project files that are going to be released on YouTube this week. So keep an eye out for those. Make sure you hit the like button and hit that subscribe button. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, leave your comment in the comment box there, and I'll endeavour to answer those as fast as I can. There'll be a link in the description. It is 100% free, no passwords or any of that shit. It's going to be a zip file. You guys know how to use zip files and whatnot, and that's really it. So tomorrow I'll be bringing out another one for you guys to use as well, which could be sort of Nuketown or Skyjacked or one of the new DLCs. And if you guys have any questions, as I said, leave a message in the comment box, and I'll answer that as fast as I can. All right, until next time, see you guys later.